YouTube land, and welcome to the Get In and Get Out Nintendo Podcast, episode 72. What is up, Jungle 57 Mind Pro? I am your host, Dantes, and of course, joining me like always, Mr. Caleones. How you doing, Caleones?
Hey, how you doing, Dantes? How you doing, everybody? And yeah, today we're doing it one day late, so we got a little bit of more announcements that we were able to squeeze in when it comes to our news segment. But yes, we're gonna be talking about the Game Awards. We're gonna be talking about the big game, the mother of them all that launched last week, Smash, and give our impressions on other news and sales numbers for Nintendo as well. So Dantes, go ahead and take it away.
So, I want to welcome everybody to the Get In and Get Out Nintendo Podcast, episode 72, right here at the Force In Unison Gaming channel. Please remember to subscribe, like, and comment, and hit that bell so you can make this two crazy MS happy. Also, remember, you can get this podcast on SoundCloud and iTunes for free. Rate us over there so you can show up some love. Also, go to the description box below so you can see the full channel schedule. Even though we're all over the place, we promise you everything will be stable in January. Also, Facebook page at Force In Unison Gaming. And finally, and Dantes says finally, go to forceinunison.wordpress.com and give some clicks and love to my boy Caleones. With all that said, are you guys ready? I said, are you ready? For the no one in attendance. And the 5 people. Thank you, 5 people. I know it's Monday. Watching around the world. Let's get ready for Reggie's Hot Topics of the Week.
My body is ready.
My body is ready. And Caleones, let's move it around a little bit. Before we talk about the Game Awards, Mind Pro is really interested to seeing, understanding what is our impressions of Smash. Now, to clarify, I have not played Smash at all because I'm saving it for Christmas, Christmas gift. But Caleones have played Smash, and I want him to give us his opinions about the game. And Mind Pro, can you get the podcast on Google Music? We have not put it in Google Music as of this time. You can get it on SoundCloud and iTunes. I will look. Yeah, I know I lost the voice there a little bit. I think it's the fast pace that I started the show. I will look into it. If we have other areas that we could, we can grow this podcast, we will look into it for February, because in February we're doing a big channel overhaul. This channel, the structure, the shows, everything is changing. We will be focusing less on streaming, just to give you guys a heads up, and it's gonna be more quick content, shorter videos, fast-paced videos. So to give you an example of what we're thinking. But anyway, Caleones, go ahead. What is your impressions of Smash right now?
Well, okay, so Smash is, I'll say, much improved over the Brawl formula. It is getting closer to Melee. It is very fast paced compared to the previous games on there, including the Wii U and 3DS Smash, which had no other names to them. But I love the game. It has incredible content in it when it comes to the single player adventure mode, World of Light. When it comes to collecting, the different spirits and unlocking the characters, and of course, leveling them up as well. So there's so much content into it, so many hours that you're going to be putting into it. I know that some people are criticizing the World of Light because it takes you a large amount of time for you to unlock the characters to be able to use them in the game. As an RPG aficionado, I really don't care about the grinding and leveling
You
up.
can get the characters really fast. There's a video by John St. John, I think it's John Play, something like that. I saved it because it gives you a good tip how to get all the characters in 90 minutes. All the characters in 90 minutes without needing to play World of Light. So, look for that video. It's really good. It really explains really well. But the World of Life itself, if you want to collect all the spirits, now you have to grind a little bit longer. But anyway, go ahead, Kyle. Let's keep going.
Well, I mean, unless you have a pretty good amount of amiibo figures as well, so you can go ahead and scan the amiibos. Again, certain spirits unlocked, so that does help. I at least on my portion, I haven't used any of the amiibo figures. My son is playing the game on a different profile, and he's basically used all of them that we scanned on here. So
So well,
it
just to lead to that then, because okay, first Linky, everything good. Thank you for joining us like always. And Mind Pro asked, "What do you think of the amiibo compatibility?" Well, he also asked if you want to smash with him. It's a weird, sounded a weird question, but anyway, if you have time after the podcast, you can do a round of fighting. But he asked the amiibo compatibility. You mentioned it right now. Do you like it the way that it was implemented, or is it way better how they did it this time compared to the Wii U version of Smash?
Well, the only thing that I don't particularly like is that if you scan an amiibo on the on Smash Bros. Ultimate and you want to use it in there, you really have to kind of like delete the data that you had for example, if you do one of the Inklings or the Splatoon amiibos, you can use those to kind of like save specific like weapons, armor, like combinations of equipment on there. But once you scan them on Smash, it deletes the data from the character. So something like that is not going to be safe. I mean, I personally don't really use the amiibos like that. I do use them to to kind of like unlock the different paths on the game. So and I'm talking about Splatoon. So you can play like the different levels and unlock certain armor. But once you scan those on the other game, it's gonna delete the data, and so it can be used on their ultimate. So there's no other way around it. You're gonna have to like delete it. And for people that do use the amiibos for for a different game, they're gonna be in a way having to either get rid of the data or not be able to use it at all. The good thing about it is that you don't really need to like all the different Splatoon amiibos on there. So just by doing a couple of them, you can still unlock the either the like this spirits or fighters and things like that. So it's not a huge deal, but that's I'll say the biggest thing about it. But as far as the game itself, I just started with Mario, so that was the first character that I started using. On there, of course, with World of Light, you start with Kirby, but just fighting wise, I've been using mainly Mario, and I don't know, like I guess for people that have certain characters that are their mains and they're not available with the initial roster, it's going to be frustrating for them because they're going to be forced to use other characters until they can unlock theirs. But
Quick things,
yes.
Zero Propensal, welcome to the stream, and Taku Dad, welcome to the stream. We're just talking about Smash impressions. Caleones is played Smash. I have not had a chance to play it, but Caleones is saying how much ass he's kicking with Mario right now. Main question. Okay, so you're saying the gameplay is faster. It feels better. It feels tighter. A lot of people are getting a lot of props with the way the characters move. There's a couple of characters that I heard that are broken. Basically, the two characters that are broken is the bad guy for Donkey Kong, for guy's name, King K. Rool. Yeah,
King K. Rool.
King K. Rool. And there was another one, but I forgot.
Or King Cruel, depending on how you
King
want to use
Cruel.
the name.
But he's like broken, like completely broken. So if you're fighting with people online with that guy, you better be ready for him. The other thing is, have you gone online yet, Caleones? Because a lot of people are saying that they're getting some lag, which I believe it is to be expected if you're using Wi-Fi. So you guys, if you don't have Wi-Fi, if you don't have an Ethernet port, I would recommend buying it because remember, it's peer-to-peer. And depending who's the host, if the host is using Wi-Fi, you're going to struggle with the lag. So I guess my question to you, Caleones, is have you gone online with the game? And how does it feel? And are you using Wi-Fi or Ethernet if you've gone online?
In my experience, I had just a handful of matches online. I didn't particularly experience anything. Then again, I was like pretty close to the router when I did because I was using it in the living room, and I went ahead and set up everything there. So like the PS4 can be connected via LAN cable as well. But I've heard from some of the people online, especially from the ones from our group, when it comes to Switch Legion or Mike Tendo, Shigeru News, and those, they've experienced certain issues with the online, not to the extent that they did before when it came to the Wii U and 3DS versions of it, but there's still some issues there. So there's certain improvement that still can be made. Nintendo's still not using dedicated servers, and they have, at some point they have to, put the money down, invest on servers, and not just on this game, but on games like Splatoon 2, which is a game that absolutely needs the online portion of it. That's the main selling point of the game. So they need to invest on the servers. There's still some little issues with it. Like I said, I personally didn't really experience issues, but a lot of people have. So there's always room to improve, and it's kind of like one person may be experiencing issues, another one isn't, but overall, if they
just depends on the host.
yeah,
It depends on how it's acting with the host, right? Again, peer to peer. So it sucks. But that's why I'm recommending. I know that it sucks. I wish Nintendo would have included the Ethernet port on the Switch dock. Maybe Nintendo will learn for the next system they need to include that Ethernet port. But if you really want to play online competitive, you have to buy the Ethernet port. That would be my recommendation based on what I'm hearing, based on the feedback. Couple of things. Zero Propenso says that you don't need a venture mode to unlock all characters. Yes, you're correct. We talked about it. We recommended even a video that tells you how to unlock them in 90 minutes, all the characters, which I will do that when I start playing Smash, because I want to get my main really quick, Shulk and Cloud ready. Those swords need to be like, knife really nicely. Anyway, and of course,
you don't want to get Me Rex either.
What?
Me Rex?
I don't know. I don't think we're gonna get that one. Otaku Dad also said that his opinion on Smash is sort of like a Smash expansion for Smash. This is a new opinion of Wii and 3DS, because the mechanics when he plays it doesn't feel any different. Okay, that's the first one that I heard that way. Everybody is saying that the gameplay feels better, feels smoother, feels faster. So, but everybody can feel the game differently. And then let me see, just a couple, because we're talking about Smash, and Mind Pro says about spirits, you can get them from the spirit board. They're like missions that you do to collect spirits. While the world light is the best way, it is not the only way. So again, another recommendation: if you want to collect everything in this game, you need to put the grind. You just need to put the grind. Maybe not so much for the character, for the spirits specifically. And finally, Mind Pro also says that his main is Pokemon. Nice. And of course, PAF Linky, his main is Toon Link. I didn't see that coming. But I'm happy. You know what? To close this impressions quickly, unless I'll let Caleones finish, of course, but to close my part, so I'll let Caleones finish, is I am happy, honestly, that what I'm seeing online after the wait is a lot of people are happy, right? And the reason I say that is because even though I'm not happy with the Smash community, to clarify, and I'm talking about the toxic Smash community, there were a lot of people who were drowned by those bad apples during this, that they're just happy that the game is good, that they were happy that the work that Sakurai put in this game, they were happy about all the content in the game. Those people are happy that the game came out really well. And also, I'm happy that the game, it is not an expansion in the sense. It is a full-fledged new Smash Bros. Early in the Switch life cycle, which is good, because that could mean with the DLC, you can expand the sales, you can expand the Switch install base, and then you're going to have more and more people to play the game with. Because I'm telling you the truth, Caleones, based on the feedback that I'm seeing, I see this game like a long legs. This game is going to have long legs. A lot of people are going to keep buying it. A lot of people originally were not buying Smash until the DLC characters were announced to see. Boom, they announced the Persona 5 Joker character. People were like, oh, I'm grabbing the game now. They're not waiting around. And depending on the other characters that you're going to get, and Reggie, I know I'm heading ahead of the news that we have later, but Reggie said that expect the unexpected with the 5 characters, I did not expect Persona 5. But we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
But my point to that is that I believe that this game will have long legs. So it's a benefit that it came out so early in the Switch life cycle. Anyway, anything to finish on, Caleones, on the impressions of Smash?
Well, I'll say like just to kind of like close it out. It's like you said, the game is very well made. They put a lot of passion into it. Sakurai, he's always passionate about Smash, and this is indeed the ultimate version of the game. I know that certain people were not happy that trophies were removed. Others that their favorite characters weren't announced or added to the game. But the thing is that first, by having the foundation of including every single character that every single game has ever had, there's bound to be one that you played with before that you like, that you want to use. So it just comes to kind of like nitpicking. Because of Mind Pro is saying here, like Waluigi is one of the ones that a lot of people wanted to be added to the game. He might be. I mean, at some point, because I know that they've only announced one DLC package for it. And this is something we're going to talk about later, but indications are that there's more coming. And like Dantes said, it is critical of the game coming out in the second year of the system, because the Switch is not going to last 2 years. It's not going to last 3 years. It's going to be here for 4, 5, 6. So there's plenty of time to see more other things and have other things added to the game, because Nintendo now is looking to extend the lives of the games. They're like doing it with
Splatoon.
Yeah, Splatoon especially with the free updates. They did the same thing with ARMS, doing the free updates for it as well. I know the like Smash it's its own monster, because it's going to be DLC, but you get characters, you get music, you get stages, with each one. So, but yes, I'm extremely happy with the quality of the game. After it came out, with the reception from the people that they really enjoy the game, and it seems like we're going to talk about it later. Sales are reflecting it as well. So yeah,
so let's keep going, Caleones. Yeah. Let's keep going with Smash, and we'll leave the Game Awards after we're done with the package of Smash news, because originally I put also a news out. Well, it did in the UK, even though UK doesn't share the sales numbers, but it sold the most historically on Smash. But it also broke some records, Caleones. And can you tell me where those records were broken for Smash in sales?
Okay, so do you want to start with Japan, with the US, UK, where?
Let's go with Japan, because that is let me put it this way, why I'm so impressed with those numbers in Japan specifically. When was the last time a game sold over this amount that you're going to say in Japan? It's been a while, because Japan, admittedly, the console market, the gaming market has shrunk. We can't deny that it's not the same juggernaut that it was 20 years ago, where most of the games and most of the sales came from Japan. Has shifted. We have to accept that. But this shows you the power of Smash in Japan and being Nintendo with a handheld console. But go ahead, Caleones. Go ahead with the Japanese numbers first.
Okay, so when it comes to the Japanese numbers, and this is, I know that they're talking about first week sales, but the first week sales is really 3 days. So they're talking about Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So it's only 3 days. It's not 7. But up until now, Pokemon Let's Go was actually the biggest selling game first week sales in Japan for the Nintendo Switch out of all of them. So that counts, Super Mario Odyssey. That counts Zelda Breath of the Wild, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, so all of them. And it sold, I think it was like around like 660,000 copies. But Famitsu is reporting today that Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is actually on track to sell 1.3 million copies during the first 3 days of availability in Japan. So not only does that make it the fastest selling Nintendo Switch game of all in Japan, but outside of Pokemon, it is the only Nintendo game ever to sell over 1 million copies in Japan in its first week, ever. And that's, counting the Nintendo, Super Nintendo, like
The history,
N64,
history. Yep.
GameCube, Wii, like every single game system in history. Outside of Pokemon, the only game to sell over 1 million at 1.3 million copies. So it doubled the amount of Pokemon Let's Go. And if you remember, Pokemon Let's Go sold 3 million copies worldwide in its first week. So it's already doubled the amount in Japan. In the US, they haven't really reported it yet, but they said that it was tracking as selling double of what Pokemon Let's Go sold in the US as well. So we're gonna get a confirmation of that later. And talking about the UK, it is actually the fastest selling Nintendo Switch game sold. And it's actually sold 233% over the Wii U version as well. So so that's very, very impressive. Don't be surprised if Smash ends up selling in the ballpark of 5 to 6 million copies in its first week worldwide. But yes, very, very impressed with how it did in Japan.
Okay. Here's I'm gonna say something, but good job, Caleones, in mixing all the sales. But let me put it this way, Caleones, and this is not as an offense to clarify to Smash. This is how Nintendo is smart to clarify. Caleones, how many God of War sold the first couple of weeks? It was around 5 million, I believe, right?
Yeah, around 5 million.
Now, Smash is probably going to be selling close to that, possibly too. Now, budget-wise, Caleones, which one do you think had the way bigger budget of the two?
Well, I mean, I don't have the information on here, but if you take into account
just assumption,
how big the game is, I mean, it's by far Smash is going to be the game that they've invested less on when you compare it to God of War. God
budget-wise.
Yes, so many things. Yeah, when it comes to the graphics, to the music,
and to the reboot. Remember that was if you have to account the budget that it took Santa Monica to recoup, get back on their feet after their canceled game, and then start making this game. And Cory Barlog took the big risk in changing God of War. Right, took years. They built the engine for the first time. Right, that's for easily a lot of budget. Now the next question, Caleones. Who's going to have the biggest return of investment in the long run?
Yeah, once again, it's going to be Smash. I believe if God of War, pretty soon, I think the game's going to be dropping in price because that's one of the things. Nintendo games never or hardly ever drop in price. So it's going to maintain its $60 value pretty much for the duration of it, or once it's close to the end of life for the Switch. You might see it as the Nintendo Selects or something like that. But aside from that, it looks like it's really an evergreen title. And when we're talking about evergreen, is that pretty much you get a Nintendo Switch, you're getting Smash. You get a Switch, you get Odyssey. You get a Switch, you get Breath of the Wild. So it's going to be one of those games that a good percentage of Nintendo Switch owners, maybe even 50%, and if that's 50%, that's crazy. But it's, to me, it's going to end up as the highest selling Smash Brothers game ever. It's already the biggest selling Nintendo title outside of Pokemon ever in its first week, and it's just going to continue to sell. So by far, Smash.
Okay.
Profitable.
So why am I saying all this crap, right? Is because Sony announced that they had their biggest sales this year on their first-party games, and they announced to the investors how much money they made. Sony made a ton of money, thanks. And this was with high-budget titles, like really expensive games. They're not cheap to make, trust me. They took many years. My point is Nintendo is the masters of budgeting their games correctly and making a bang on the investments. Pokemon Let's Go. That game did not cost that much to make. It's making a lot of money to itself. Smash. They probably use, even though they made the engine better, they probably use the same engine as the Wii U, refine it, and they basically made the game close to what, Caleones? I would say like a year and a half or 2-year development cycle, right? Boom, game comes out. It's a smash hit. All the money that it's making, I have to bring it because it is a game I have to bring I said every podcast I have to bring it up. Xenoblade Chronicles, Monolith Soft is seeing big returns from that game. Only took them a couple of years to make it. Now they're expanding their their company because of the success of Xenoblade Chronicles. And you would say 1.5 million. Why would you have so much excitement over a 1.5 million sales? And it's because you budgeted the game correctly. The reason, again, I'm laying all this story out, the reason I'm saying all this is companies like EA, Ubisoft, anyway, forgot the other devil, Activision, there you go. They say, oh, gaming, we need to put microtransactions, we need to put loot boxes, because gaming is, they don't make enough money on their investment. You know why you're not making enough money? Because you're not budgeting the freaking games correctly. I don't need to see horses' balls just bouncing around in Red Dead Redemption to make them so realistic, right? So Rockstar is one of the few companies that can take 10 years to make a game and then sell so much money and then they get it back. That's Rockstar. We can't have every game be so detailed. Oh my God, the graphics are awesome. I like both. Let me clarify. I can happily play God of War and be, oh my God, this game looks beautiful. This game is awesome. Love the artistic view. Fine, enjoyed it. Love the game. It's my game of the year right now this year. But I can easily go and play Xenoblade Chronicles. Graphics are not even close, but the gameplay is tight. The gameplay I like. The story is great. That I enjoy it so much. I can go and have it on my Switch, duck, ready to roll for my trip. Octopath Traveler. Looks shitty. 16 bits graphics and whatever. But I can enjoy it for what it is, for what it's putting in the table. And again, the Wii had great artistic looking games. It's just the SD nature of the system. And there's a couple of trademarks that we want to talk about. But Mario Galaxy was a beautiful, beautiful game. So to clarify, guys, you can have both. And I'm happy that Nintendo is here. To clarify, now today I'm giving them praises. I know I'm critical of Nintendo sometimes, but today I'm giving them praises. I'm happy, Caleones, that Nintendo is here to balance the scale, because I think gaming would be in a tough place if Nintendo wasn't here to balance the scale, because then everybody would think, oh, graphics is what only the matter. Gameplay matters too, people. And I think Nintendo gives you that balance for those type of games. And Smash seems to be showing the gameplay is really, really good. And all this stuff that Sakurai added to it just adds to the mystique of this game. And it's a success, pure and simple. And I'm happy for it because, again, you don't need microtransactions. You don't need loot boxes. You don't need that BS. And I'm okay with DLC if you do it right. And as of right now, to Nintendo's credit, they've done DLC right. Go ahead, Karen, if you have anything to add.
Yeah, and Mind Pro, he actually says something that is true, that you don't make enough money because you didn't put enough time and love into the game. So for certain, for those companies, for the most part, you have the people that with the money making the decisions. With something like Smash Bros, you have Sakurai, where like he says, he poured his heart and soul into the game, and you can literally see it whenever he would talk about it, because he's always in there. He's working, God knows how many hours he's putting into it, but the passion of those people that really absolutely care about the game ends up showing it. And something like Smash, it's it ends up looking like this. The same thing as who's for you, who's responsible of making God of War what it is now? Who made the PS4 version as good as it is?
Well, Cory Barlog, he put his heart on it. He was crying when the game had a 95 or whatever Metacritic score, 94 Metacritic score when it came out. He was crying because he put his blood, sweat, and tears. And this is like make or breaks for Santa Monica. If this game did not sell or was a failure, I would be concerned about that studio. So, but again, I'm with you, Caleones. That's why I'm happy for Sakurai. I think Sakurai puts that much love into the Smash. Remember, Sakurai's in a different position. He doesn't work for Nintendo. They keep bringing him back and paying him whatever you need. Sakurai, what do you need? Pay the man, Nintendo. Pay the man, right? So, again, to end this conversation so we can move to the next topic of Smash, which I think is the Persona, right? But anyway, we can get to that. What I was going to say is that I'm just happy that Nintendo, and in some extent Sony, are still there with their first-party games, holding it down where you don't need crappy loot boxes, crappy, microtransactions, stuff like I want to play Devil May Cry 5, like really bad. Again, it looks really good, Caleones. But right now, I'm reserving if I'm playing that game until I hear reviews. Instead of it be a pre-order, thanks to Capcom BS, now I have to wait and see what they do with the red orb. So, anyway.
Well, and that's one of the other topics that we're going to be talking about. Like Minepro is talking about, the big reveal out of the Game Awards for Nintendo, which was the new DLC for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and that being Joker from the Persona series. What was your view? Let's talk about first. What is your reaction to it? And then we're going to talk about what that means, or at least to me, when it comes to everything else coming.
The future. But I got two reactions. One, my first reaction was, frick. I can't believe that they added a Persona character. That was unexpected at all. I'm not a fan of Persona. I have Persona 5. I want to play it next year. That's my goal next year, to play Persona 5. But it was a big surprise, Caleones. Now, the other impression that I had of the moment was like, frick. Because now Nintendo is getting out there with the third-party characters. Now we're going to have the toxic Smash players again. Oh, I want this. Oh, I want that. Oh, I want this character. I thought that Nintendo would lower the expectations for the DLC by keeping it in-house, by keeping most of the characters being DLC coming from Nintendo itself. I was wrong, and this just adds to the Smash toxic people like, oh my god, I want this, I want that, and never be happy about it. I think it's a cool announcement. To clarify, I think it's a cool announcement, and I think it gives a lot of value, and that's maybe why Nintendo start getting some big third-party characters, a lot of value to Smash. So people, they came out of the gates with, and maybe the other characters are not this way, not so controversial, Caleones, but they came out of the gate saying, you need to buy the season pass now. That's basically what they're telling you right now. Some people are ponying it up that money right now because they have the Persona 5 character, the main character, Joker, in the game, Caleones. So they're already ponying up a Smash game and the season pass, even without knowing the 4 characters, right? A smart consumer would wait until all characters are revealed before they get the season pass. But we're all fans. I bought Zelda Breath of the Wild season pass ahead of the time. I bought the Xenoblade Chronicles season pass ahead of the time. And meanwhile, I was a little bit disappointed in Zelda Breath of the Wild season pass. I did get my money's worth on the Xenoblade Chronicles season pass, to clarify. So again, it's just perception how you see it. But anyway, any thoughts of this big reveal? And then when you talk about the big reveal, I had put the news on the news burst, but let's bring it into the equation here. But I think it's going to be a good topic. Do you think this leads to Persona 5 coming to the Switch? And of course, you can get into your rant about how many people were already saying, rumors, it's a done deal. Persona 5 is coming to the Switch. But anyway, let's do that. Let's pull that string, Caleones, and go ahead and give your impression about the character, and then we can go into the Persona discussion.
Okay, so one of the articles that we had on here was about Persona Central. There's a writer that says that he has sources that say Persona 5 is going to be bound for the Nintendo Switch, which ties into the DLC character on here. So one thing I'm going to say first is nobody in the world predicted Persona 5, Persona to be represented on Smash. Yes, they were talking about different studios that could possibly be involved in there, since you already had Konami, Capcom, and Sega and others, especially Japanese studios. But Persona 5, nobody saw it coming. But as soon as they made the announcement, you started seeing all these sources about how Persona 5 was coming to the Nintendo Switch. So of course, they were piggybacking from the announcement. Nobody had seen it before, but then they started acting as if they kind of knew that it was coming. So what I'll say is this: Nintendo, they're not dumb. Nintendo knows what they're doing. Nintendo knows that making an announcement like this it's not just going to be for a new character added to to Smash, but it's also they use it as a way to promote games that are either on the system or are coming over to the system. So one of those is being the witch from Bayonetta. So Bayonetta is on the Nintendo Switch. It came out on the Wii U. It's where she made the first appearance, and it was to tie in with the Bayonetta 1 and 2 releasing on the Wii U. So having Joker from Persona on the Switch, it's kind of like a way for people to know the character, to know the series, and to get familiar with it with one or two things. Either they've already had discussions and it's already been agreed that Persona 5 is coming over to the system, or in a way for them to judge how much people kind of react to the announcement to see if the game coming over to the system might be a possibility. We already have Shin Megami Tensei 5, which is coming over to the Switch
exclusively.
But yeah, exclusively. But Persona 5, even though they've never said that it's a PS4 exclusive, but
it's not.
Yeah, but it's.
I mean, I know Persona historically has been on PlayStation mostly, but we have had I will call them side projects like Persona Q and stuff like that appear on Nintendo consoles, to clarify. So I don't think it's an exclusive. I think it was more. I'll get to that. Let me finish your thought, because I want to get to a thought that I have about why things are changing a little bit for PlayStation specifically. But go ahead, Caleones.
Well, I mean, just saying that, yes, there's a possibility that the game is going to be coming over. Yes, the series has already been featured on Nintendo systems. They always kind of release the golden, so we might see, and this is something that we've been talking about since last year, that we might see Persona 5 Golden coming over to the Switch at some point. So it's not going to be a big surprise if it does. I would absolutely love for the game to come, because it is regarded as one of the best RPG games in the last 5 years or so. So it is a game that would certainly make the library of the Switch better. But we've seen a bunch of Japanese games making their transition over from the Sony systems, from the Vita to the Switch. So I think it would be natural for a game like that one to come over as well. But yeah, we'll see if that's why Nintendo included the character. If it's like a tie-in for the game, and that really opens up the possibility about other characters that could be joining in on that first DLC.
Okay, so let me get to why I think it's gonna happen. I'm not an insider. I'm just telling you what I feel. I feel it in my balls right now. That why this is gonna make to the Switch. Japanese companies right now, right? They're seeing PlayStation used to be the system for RPGs since the PlayStation 1 days. Would you agree with that statement, Caleones? Yeah? Okay. But this generation, more than any PlayStation generation, you've seen a change in the PlayStation name itself, where a lot of Japanese gamers were there. They were PlayStation bound. They were PlayStation hardcore, because PlayStation would give them their RPG goodness. The problem is PlayStation or Sony itself is changing philosophies, and they're attacking the market, which is the biggest market, which I understand, Caleones, the America market. That's what they're targeting, and you can see it on their published games, on their first-party games. They're targeted to Western audiences. And why is that, Caleones? Because right now, the Switch is destroying Sony in Japan. It is. You can't deny that fact. So the market for Sony in Japan has become smaller and smaller. But where are the other two strong markets that they have? Europe and USA. Sometimes those Japanese games don't attract this audience. Now, I would challenge that Sony is making a mistake, because if we're seeing this generation more than any, it's on the Western side is where the Japanese games are selling. And this is an example with games like Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and Ni no Kuni, where they sold was on the West, not on the East. But Sony, seeing it,
even games like Nier Automata,
games like that have sold really well on the West. But Sony's probably saying, oh my God, look at how much money we're making out of the Western games. So then they're not focusing in that crowd like they used to, Caleones. They're not. Persona 5 sold pretty well, I would say. They sold 2 million. And you know what? I am not an attachment whore. I don't agree with attachment. What was your budget? And how much you sell depends on your success. And Atlus was really happy with the sales of Persona. But you also have 80 million consoles. Why a game that is so highly rated couldn't sell more? And you know why, Caleones? Because Sony has done a bad job in promoting some key games that they could have done to bring other markets. Until Dawn is a perfect example of a shitty promotion that did not help the game out. And that game could have sold more if it was promoted properly. And Persona 5, if Sony would have been smart and promoted the game as, we got this RPG, the best RPG this generation, sell that game up the ass. That Persona game would have sold maybe 3 million, 4 million, Caleones. Because he had the hype, but you had to be a hardcore gamer. You see what I'm saying? Now, you know God of War, you know Spider-Man, you know Detroit Become Human, because they're first-party games. They promoted them, but they didn't promote. So my thing, why I'm going with all this rant right now, is the reason this is switching is, I always say from the first day, because I knew the Vita crowd, because I have a Vita, and I know that crowd. I knew that crowd, which are our primary RPG hardcore gamers, were going to move to the Switch. And I said it from day one, and you can ask Caleones. From day one, I said, this Switch is the best. It's an RPG machine in the making. You get better graphics. It's portable, and you can get those big RPGs there now. They don't need to stay on the PlayStation console. They can come to the Switch, and you can grind. You can do side quests. You can do whatever while you're out, and then you come home, dock that baby, and you enjoy the story at that point. That's how I play Xenoblade. Like, when I had to grind and go out, okay, let me play Xenoblade a little bit. Okay, cool. Got home. Oh, story time. I need to see it on the big screen TV. Bam! Dock that MFer and enjoy Xenoblade in all his glory. So why I'm saying all this is because I feel it in my bones. If it's not Persona 5, it is going to be Persona 5 Golden. That game is going to be coming to the Switch because Atlus is seeing that market, is seeing how well the Japanese games are selling on the Switch. He has seen how that Persona crowd too, which were on the beta, Persona 4 Golden were on the beta, that big hardcore crowd, they have moved to the Switch, Caleones. So, and the reason I'm saying this is I'm hoping that it comes out because Persona, the bigger they are, makes Atlus make more game. And another game that I wanted to come out, and I've been saying it because it needs more to maybe support. Level 5 has a great relationship with Nintendo. Put Ni no Kuni 2 on the Switch and it will sell better. It needs to be on the Switch because even though it sold well on the West, they lost sales on the East, Caleones. And the Switch, because that's what the Japanese gamers are buying right now, being portable. I think Ni no Kuni could get a nice bump on the East if it comes to this. And I want it to come on the Switch because games
and
that
the first one was on the DS.
Yeah, the original one was on the DS. And the reason I want it to come is my favorite games. I love Ni no Kuni. I haven't played 2 because I'm waiting for all the DLC to come out. But I want them to succeed. And right now, stop the fanboyism. The best way an RPG can succeed is on the Nintendo Switch. It's pure and simple. I don't think there's any doubt about it. Sony has, I would say, forgotten a little bit about their Japanese roots. Like they have forgotten about the indies a little bit, even though the indies carried them early in the generation. But now they got their big guns. I'm wondering if Sony's going to come crawling back to indies and to Japanese games when they launch the PS5 because they won't have all the big hitters at the start of the generation. They're always a slow starter on the generation. I mean, interesting to see how Sony handles that because they basically have abandoned those 2 franchises. And, you know, with the censorship that is going on, it's not helping out either right now. But Nintendo is welcoming all this. So, anyway, rant's done. I don't know if you want to add anything to it. I just feel that Persona 5 Golden is coming to the Switch. No insider, just hunch in my balls. Go ahead, Carlos.
Yeah, and I mean, something that, like some of those Japanese developers that they don't have to worry about unless, there's, Square Enix because they love trying to come up with their own engines and put a lot of money into the budget of the game. But by staying on the Switch, basically the same game engines that they've been using on the PS3, on the PS4, they can continue to use it on the system. If Sony transitions over to the PS5, then they don't really have to worry about getting all the resources and moving it over to the new system because the Switch is there. So it helps them make like a kind of like a slow transition over to the newer systems without having to put all their eggs in one basket and having to push everybody to that console. So like you said, the Switch. It is perfect for grinding. It is perfect for enjoying the cinematics of the games. And I mean, and we're seeing it. We've been seeing it since the system released last year, and especially after the second part of 2017 and 2018. Not only with how many indie games are coming out, but yes, the Japanese games are moving over as well. So it's been it is a system perfectly built for it. And if Sony continues to neglect the JRPGs, and the RPGs from Japan, then they're gonna, they're not gonna find any fault on moving over.
Yeah, they're gonna lose that crowd, which is it's on them. Whatever. Anyway, Caleones, with that said, let's go. I think we've been hitting in the news. It's already 45 minutes in. So let's go to the Game Awards. And what I want you to do is just give us quickly just the winner of each category, maybe the big ones. I don't have to go all of them, but at least the big ones, Game of the Year, Best Narrative, and stuff like that. And then we can go from there, and then we can give our opinions after you go through the winners. Through them.
Okay, so well, have a great one, Mind Pro. Thanks for visiting us over here. But yes, I mean, you're saying that you're happy about God of War being winning Game of the Year at the Game Awards. You should have seen this guy over here. We were on the phone and talking while watching the Game Awards, and he just went nuts, and that's actually an understatement with Dantes' reaction to God of War winning Game of the Year. So
let's start quickly there. I'll give you my reason why I went crazy. It's because I thought Red Dead Redemption was gonna sweep the award show. Can I completely sweep the award show? And God of War, I felt it did more for the industry and deserved more recognition. And I think it would have looked bad if God of War would not have won anything. So when Cory Barlog won Best Director, I thought, okay, at least God of War got some recognition. We'll take it to the bank. Cory deserved it. He did a great job directing God of War. But Game of the Year, I thought completely the Red Dead Redemption. So when they said God of War, I went like crazy. Like, fuck yeah, fuck you, Red Dead. No, and it was all in good fun. But I was surprised, and that was it. That was the biggest surprise to me of the night, was Red Dead not winning Game of the Year. And I was happy for God of War because that's my Game of the Year too. I really loved the game this year. So go ahead, Kaya. Start with the different categories.
Okay, so we had Game of the Year, of course. It was God of War. Best ongoing game. It was Fortnite. And I'll say, like we play Fortnite on our channel, and they've done a great job when it comes to updating the game. The different seasons, the different passes. It is still free to play. There's no pay to win on the game. It's all about cosmetics and things like that. But they've always done a great job with updates for the game, and especially when they do events that happen in real time within the game. So you have to be there and experience it, because if not, you might you'll miss it. But they've always done a great job. So that was I think a pretty good win. I'll say that about No Man's Sky. Dave Mary Sean Murray has done a great job updating the game. I know that it was when it came out, it wasn't what they were basically promised from the beginning, but now you see where their vision is, and they've been able to achieve most of those things. So get best game direction. It was God of War. Best narrative, Red Dead Redemption 2. Best art direction, A Return of the Obra Dinn. Best music or score, Red Dead Redemption 2. Audio design, Red Dead Redemption 2. Performance, it was Roger Clark, which is Arthur Morgan from Red Dead Redemption 2. Games for Impact and Best Indie Game went to Celeste. Mobile Game Florence. Best VR Astrobot Rescue Mission, which did you get to play it already, or you haven't played it yet?
No, I'm not playing. I wanted to play this week. I'll see if I get to it, but trying to balance work and vacation. Sounds weird, but yes, work and vacation together.
Yeah, and for those of you that don't know, like Astrobot Rescue Mission, they are talking about this game as if it is kind of like the Super Mario 64 of the VR. So it is something completely new. It's a new experience and something that absolutely sells people on the VR and the possibilities of it. Best action game went to Dead Cells, an indie game, which it was up there for
Thanks to Flip.
indie game of the year. Yes, it was Flip. At least the game didn't get me unseen.
No.
But best action adventure game went to God of War. Best role playing game. I don't know, a lot of people were not too happy about it. It was Monster Hunter World. Not necessarily because
I knew it.
won.
I honestly knew that one.
Yeah,
But yes.
yeah, I mean, but because Xenoblade Chronicles 2 should have been nominated for best role playing game. Fighting game went to Dragon Ball Fighters. Best family game, which was the only one that Nintendo could have realistically win, but it went to Overcooked 2. Best strategy game, Into the Breach. Best racing game, Forza Horizon 4. Best multiplayer game, Fortnite. And just talking about, and I'll say it just because Zero Propenso was saying it, but the content creator of the year went to Ninja. And of course, he is a big Fortnite player and is famous. Yeah, my daughter absolutely loves him. He's a pretty good personality. So yeah, you kind of knew that he was going to be winning that one. But yeah, it was overall it was a great event. I know that there's certain things, and I want to get your perspective from this. Not all the announcements that people were, like talking about happened during the Game Awards. Some of those that they were predicting, especially when it comes to Nintendo games, they never happened. And of course, I'm talking about there was no Metroid Prime trilogy announced. There was no Metroid Prime 4 as shown. There was no Bayonetta 3, shown during the awards, or a new or the Skyward Sword HD or new Zelda game. So I know that people's expectations were sky high because of all the rumors, and don't believe the people out there. Just don't believe those rumors. Just enjoy the awards and enjoy those events, and don't lose yourself on people that don't know anything and they're just saying things for clicks.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just here clicking something quick here so I can get. I was just gonna opening just to look at in front of me just who won specifically and give you my opinion. Here's the list of winners. There we go. So let's start quickly. I already talked about Game of the Year. I feel God of War deserve it. Now, admittedly, I have not played Red Dead Redemption 2. Caleones, you've played Red Dead Redemption 2, but you haven't played God of War, so we can't give an opinion about it. But the only thing I'm going to say, just to rub a wound on all the Rockstar fanboys, is Sony is your kryptonite, guys, because the year that Grand Theft Auto came out, you know who won? Last of Us 2. So, sorry about that. I always say that when Rockstar comes out, they rule the world, except Sony first-party games. Anyway, best ongoing game, of course, it was Fortnite. I mean, whatever. Best game direction, again, it's God of War. I was happy with that one. Best narrative, Red Dead Redemption 1. I do not agree. I think that should have gone to either Spider-Man or God of War. But again, I have not played Red Dead Redemption, but I really like the narrative of Spider-Man. Best art direction, Return of Obra Dinn. I don't know that game. Best musical score is Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Best audio design is Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm fine with that. It's all good.
Talk about best musical score again.
Best musical score was Xenoblade Chronicles in my heart. So Red Dead 1. Red Dead
So
1.
I mean, I'll say yeah, it Red Dead 1, but again, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 should have been at least nominated for Best RPG and Best Music.
Best music. I would take it best music because that soundtrack
especially
is
best
godlike. Let me
music.
put it that way. Best performer. Royer Clark won from Red Dead Redemption. This is what I was starting to get scared that Red Dead was gonna take everything. I wanted Yuri to win because he did a great job as Spider-Man. He really nailed the part as Spider-Man. But Royer Clark won that one. Games for Impact, Celeste. It's a great game. Best independent game, Celeste again. It's a great game. Best mobile game, who cares? Best VR. I think Astrobot deserved it. It got great scores. Moss was also another good game. And Beat Saber. A lot of people like Beat Saber too. So that was a tough competition on the VR side. Best action game, Dead Cells. I'm fine with that. Best action adventure game goes God of War. God of War won 3 awards. They beat Red Dead 3 times. That was not easy. Best role play game to Caleones points. Monster Hunter World. I knew that was gonna happen because again, voting was more skewed toward the Western gamers, and people love Monster Hunter World early this year. So, best fighting game, Dragon Ball Z. I'm fine with that. Best family game, Overcooked 2 winning. Also a surprise. Mario Party is doing really good, and Mario Tennis was a really nice party game. So again, sucks for Nintendo that they didn't want anything first party this year. But last year they took the big crown, so who cares? You're gonna have your off years, and Pokemon ain't winning shit. As good as the game ain't winning shit, and Smash just came out too late. I think the question is next year, Smash at least should win probably best fighting game if they don't forget about it. So. Yeah, I know. Best strategy game, Into the Breach. Best sport racing game, Forza Horizon 4. Microsoft finally winning something. Good for you guys. Best multiplayer game, Fortnite. And everything else, all this esports crap, I don't care about. So let's not go into that detail. So overall, were you happy with the winners to end that? And then we can go into the announcements, the surprise announcements, and let's get into that Metroid Prime discussion.
Well, one of the things that we already talked about was how Nintendo basically knows how to manage a budget, and other companies don't. So when it comes to Rockstar, they don't really have to manage a budget because they have so much money that they're just gonna make it up in a day, and a lot over it. So, Red Dead Redemption 2 is one of those games that it has the budget of an Avengers movie, basically.
Yep.
They have
Agreed.
so much money into it.
Yep.
It is great quality. It is a good story and everything, but it's in a way it's kind of unfair when you compare a game like that to the others because they have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, millions upon millions of, and in some cases, hundreds of millions of dollars put into it. That you can, when it comes to art direction, music, and things like that, is almost impossible to compete because they pour so much money just to get the absolute best people to work on it. But God of War, I haven't played it, but one of the things that you talk about is something that people kind of miss is the innovative aspect of a single camera following the character to the entire game, even through the transition of cinematics and everything. So the camera is always behind you, following you, and that's how you experience it. So, and not only because of that, but the narrative and the graphics and everything else. When it comes to that, Red Dead Redemption 2, it does look better. They put a lot more money into it, but I'll say that I don't think it brings anything new to the table. I don't know how to say it, but the production values from Red Dead Redemption 2 are through the roof. It is a great game. For a lot of people, it will be their game of the year, but it doesn't feel like it brings anything new to gaming per se.
I was gonna say there's a small group that is kind of building, that is kind of saying that the game is overrated, which everything happens. But the main reason why they're targeting is because the controls are really bad, right? They're saying the controls are clunky, the controls are a pain. That Rockstar need to evolve the controls. So Now Rockstars need to take that feedback going forward, fix, maybe improve the controls, make it more arcadey. It doesn't have to be so realistic that every action that you take just takes so long, which a lot of people complain. God of War is fast. Boom, you want that axe, you get that axe, you attack, you press this button, you attack, everything. Smooth, quickly. That's what gamers like. I don't want to play a realistic game where I have to bend over and watch the animation of picking up an item and pick. Let's just pick it and move. Let's go. We got lives to get to. So maybe that's the biggest hit that Rockstar can learn from this. It is, to your point, it is a great game. It is a game to spend a long-ass time. It is a 60-hour game, easily, just a single player. And then if you want to do the trophies on the multiplayer, it's another 150 hours if you want to do all that grinding, because they set it up for you to buy those microtransactions, that's for sure. So again, that's where Rockstar may lose some points, Caleones. It's in the controls, and then in the, I'm going to say this, sorry for the kids, in the fuckery, because they set up that multiplayer to really steal all your money. That's the problem, Caleones, and that's what sometimes hurts this type of games. Breath of the Wild won last year just because it had damn good gameplay, and it was an evolution for Zelda Breath of the Wild. Or for Zelda, excuse me. God of War won this year, in my opinion, because it was an evolution for the God of War franchise. Like, it was like a big evolution compared to the other God of Wars. If you think about it, it's a totally different game. Now, is Red Dead really an evolution? That's the question. It's still the same clunky controllers from Grand Theft Auto Vice City. It is, yeah, production value up the ass. Fine. You're going to see horses' balls just bouncing around in real time. Awesome. I don't want to see horses' balls, Caleones. I prefer a fast-paced, fun game. But I'll reserve my judgment. If someday I play Red Dead, I'll get to that. But anyway, I think what we're saying, I think we're happy with the winners, Caleones. I think it was a good show. It was an entertaining show. We watched it together. Hoping next year we can do a live reaction show on it as we watch it next year, because next year's gonna be interesting. Next year, Nintendo has some heavy hitters. If Sony drops that Last of Us 2, is that like boom, it's over, or are we gonna get an underdog? Because now the tables have turned. This year everybody was happy because God of War beat the Juggernaut, right? Now next year, if Last of Us comes out, Last of Us is the Juggernaut. Is there's a game that we don't expect coming next year that can win Game of the Year and take it away from Last of Us? That's a we'll see. That's gonna be interesting. Anyway, Caleones, let's move now to the Game Awards announcements specifically. Can you mention some of the major announcements that we saw during the Game Awards?
Okay, well, but talking about the announcements themselves, and this is coming, mostly is going to be the Nintendo announcements from there. Of course, we had the other big one, which was Joker from Persona announced as the first DLC character for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. There's going to be 5 in total, so we already got one out of the way. We didn't really see how the character looks in the game, the gameplay. Know that the character is also going to be attached with a stage, and there's going to be music attached as well. So we haven't seen any of that, but at least we know that that's going to be the first one. Making it over. So aside from that, I'll say the big game reveal for the show was Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, the Black Order. No one expected that one. No one predicted it. And if you hear anybody saying that they knew about the game, no, they didn't. No, nobody did. And I'll say that this is actually a big deal for Nintendo. There's been some complaints from people that don't have a Nintendo Switch system because the game is an exclusive to the Switch. It's not available on the PS4.
That's live. Buy the damn system
One.
if you really want to play the game.
Yes, but it sounds like the game wouldn't actually have been made without Nintendo putting money into it. So, it could be the same scenario as Bayonetta, where people are complaining that Bayonetta 2 is not on any other system, but that's because Nintendo were the ones to put the money down and make the game possible because nobody else did. So, and the other thing about the timing is perfect because what's happening next year in 2019,
The Avengers.
Avengers Endgame. Yes. So that's gonna be the movie to close out all movies. So it's gonna be kind of like the ending of I believe it's Phase 3 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And the game is going to be coinciding with the release. I don't know if it's going to be around the same release day, if it's going to be later, but it is 2019, so it comes out the same year as the movie. So that's very important. They had of course the Fortnite creative, which was an update to Fortnite, and that's adding the Minecraft elements to it. I've been saying it since last year that Fortnite could be an evergreen title. It could be like Minecraft if they allow the building mechanics to be incorporated into the game for you to have your own server with your own island that you can create and not have it like completely destroyed once the timer runs out if you're doing like you would do on the other modes. So I'm happy that they've done it, and the possibility seems endless. So we'll see how people continue to do this. They added a portion within the game itself. So the best creations and the most popular ones are going to be featured within the game. So that's going to be fun. Also, then we had the announcement of Mortal Kombat 11 during the Game Awards. They didn't really specify that it was for Switch. We kind of find out a little later, but Mortal Kombat 11 is coming to the Switch. Yes, it is coming to the Switch. So that's I'll say surprising, not because I'm sure a game coming over to the system, but more so because games like Injustice have skipped the Switch, and you kind of think of this game as along the lines of those. So it was surprising, but I'm happy that it is. It is so different to Smash that the two fighting games can coexist with one another, and it joins the ranks of games like the Xenoverse, the Dragon Ball Z universe games, and the Dragon Ball fighters as well. So nice to have it. And the other one was Sayonara Wild Hearts, which is kind of like it's hard to describe. It is like a music game, but while you play the kind of like the music and the beat, you actually play a game where you have like people running in bikes and fighting and all of that. So it looks pretty unique. Will be coming out next year as well for the Switch. But yeah, that was another one that nobody knew that was coming. So it was okay. It was not what some people expected, and we already said it. People were expecting Metro Prime trilogy, Metro Prime 4, Bayonetta 3, and such. And a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, some people came out disappointed because they didn't make those announcements. But Nintendo wasn't really teasing, those announcements for the Game Awards. It was just kind of like the misconception of certain people, or some people that may know that something is coming and they figure that they would announce it at the Game Awards. That didn't happen. Nintendo does have a direct in January, so maybe they decided to save those or some of those announcements, or maybe those games are not even being made or considered at this point. So who knows? But overall, I was still happy with what Nintendo showed at the Game Awards, and of course, still looking forward for what else could be out there.
I'll say this just quickly because we're already in overtime here in the show, but I think to clarify, I've never been, I always said it, a Marvel Ultimate Alliance fan at all. So I'm not excited at all about this game. I played the originals and I did not like it. I returned the game. So, but at the same time, it's a business and I understand, and I'm happy that it's coming to the Switch. If Nintendo's the one ponying up the money, that's a strong IP to have ready to roll for next year, to Caleones' point, with Avengers coming up. And at the same time, there's fans out there who miss the original Ultimate Alliance and they want to play it again. And if you're a big fan and you say, oh my God, it's on the Switch only, dude, please get it. This is a business. That's how you sell consoles. Exclusives are a devil that you have to deal with. You have to take some of those exclusives. You have to. It's part of the game. It's all about the game. So I'm not mad at all that it's an exclusive, because I really understand the end game where Nintendo is trying to get to. Now, what I'm sad about is, to Caleones' points, people bullshitting and you getting tired, because I was hoping for a Metroid Prime collection. I was hoping for that. And there's, in the news burst, there's a couple other trademarks going around that may bring some more Wii games to the Switch. If there's one console who needs every game remake, it's the Wii. Trust me, the Wii needs all of those games remastered, Caleones, coming to the Switch. So I want to see Metroid Prime. It's just Metroid Prime Trilogy just makes so much damn sense, Caleones, that it comes to the Switch. And I'm hoping that it happens. I am hoping that it happens. And even though I have the Metroid Prime Trilogy on the Wii, I will buy it again just to support. And because I need to put money where my mouth at, because if I'm asking for all the Wii games to be remastered in HD, I want to support them, so Nintendo knows that you need to bring that great library of Wii games to the Switch. That way we can throw our Wii to the trash. But anyway, joking aside, that was a little bit sad, Caleones. I was hoping for a Metroid Prime Trilogy announcement. But it is what it is. To your point, these insider people, they're a bunch of BS sometimes. Just ignore them. And then just listen to which rumor is really sticking. And that maybe will happen. It will come out. If not, just be surprised. Let's do like the old days where we're just surprised. And let's wait for the Nintendo Direct in January. And maybe we'll get big surprises during that Direct. Without hyping ourselves so much of expectations, then you get disappointed, basically. But anyway, anything to add, Karen, before we move on?
I'll say that there was actually another game announced unofficially for the Nintendo Switch. It's not coming yet to the Switch. It's going to be on early access on Steam, but eventually it will be coming over to the Switch. And that's one that you actually were very happy about when it got announced.
Not Steam. It's on.
Well, I mean, not Steam,
Epic Store.
Yeah,
the
Epic.
Epic Store.
Yeah, the Epic Store. So what game is that one?
Hades. It's Supergiant Games' new game. They're, of course, Supergiant Games, the creators of Transistor, and oh God, and Bastion. God, it's like I'm blanking out today a little bit. Pyre. Yeah, I don't want to mention too much Pyre because I really didn't like Pyre that much. But Transistor and Bastion are two really good games. Really good games. Transistor is one of my top 10 games this generation, so that's how highly I think of it. So I'm excited about this game. It's only on the Epic Store right now because it's an early access game. But I'll wait for the PS4 version. I know if it comes to the Switch, Caleones may play it on the Switch version. The other game that you forgot, and I know maybe you mentioned it, is Crash Team Racing. Was also announced for the Switch. And this game came after, where I thought when it came out, I said jokingly, "Oh, you're gonna have to wait a year for it to come out." But no, the game is coming out Xbox and Switch the same day as PlayStation 4 version. I think the only thing is that Sony has the marketing rights of the game, which is normal. It's like Devil May Cry having the marketing rights with Xbox, to give you an example. But anyway, that's it. I think it was a good show. Overall review, right, guys? I enjoyed it. It wasn't bad. It was a good time, and there was some good announcements in there that pumps your blood for the future.
I mean, if the show had you screaming at the end, you enjoyed the show. So
screaming like a little bitch. Anyway, with that said, let's end it and let's start. Let's move quickly to Onuma's News Burst. Let's hit it quick and hit it hard.
Okay, so moving over to the Anuma's News Burst. We've already talked about the DLC character. We already talked about sales numbers. We already talked about some of those. But one of the things that we didn't really mention when it came to the Game Awards is how, there's a lot of fighting, a lot of animosity, a lot of like console warriors, like carrying the banner of their favorite consoles and spewing venom when it comes to the other ones. But we actually had a pretty great embrace within the Game Awards, and that's when you had the big three coming together. So we're talking about Sean Layton, Phil Spencer, Reggie Fils-Aimé walking together to the stage to welcome everybody to the awards, and I think that was a very special moment. I really that's what it's about. Gamers coming together. It's about Sony enabling crossplay when it comes to all the other games, but still, it is about gaming as a whole, and to kind of like put all the fighting aside, because When it comes to it, yes, they're corporations. Yes, they want to make money, but still, they want to make games. They want to make games that sell, and of course, games that sells need to be games that people enjoy, that people love, and that like God of Wars, like the Smash Brothers, that games that people are passionate about. So, how do you feel about that? About the big three coming together that way?
I think it was a cool moment. I didn't put that much stock in it because I think it was a cool moment to quench the thirst of the fanboys for a little bit. But behind the scenes, they're gonna go back to taking shots at each other. It's a competition, and that's fine. Like, I understand that. That's why when they're taking shots, when people get offended about stupid Twitter jokes like the one IGN did for God of War, and all the Xbox fanboys got all butthurt, or when when Microsoft and Nintendo took a shot at Sony for not being part of the crossplay movement, I was fine with it because that is the fun part. You guys need to take this shit less seriously. So that's why when they all walked down the line, I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. Now, there was some funny jokes after the fact, like a person put the guy on PlayStation 1080p, the guy from Xbox 4K, and then the Nintendo console 360p. But that was, it was a dig at Nintendo, and I thought it was funny. But aside from that, I mean, this move honestly it's better for Microsoft because they're the ones looking to put Game Pass on every. A news came out that Microsoft is looking to put Game Pass on every console, right? So I mean, this is Microsoft maybe smooshing up and maybe get their Game Pass on the Switch someday. But anyway, joking aside, it was a good moment. That's the only thing I'm gonna say.
And talking about that specifically, how do you feel about the possibility of Game Pass being available on the Nintendo Switch, on the PS4, and on other like consoles or
So I'm not surprised because that's how Microsoft made their money. They're not a hardware manufacturer. Microsoft makes their money with Windows, with software, things that you can use in any platform. And then when the new CEO came through, you could see that was his goal. Xbox is still there. Xbox not going anywhere. I'm not saying that. I think you're going to have a console. But Xbox will not care. That is not their strategy. They do not care about exclusives. They do not care about selling their console itself. They're going to care about how many users are buying Game Pass. They want to become the Netflix of gaming. The question that I have is that business model sustainable? And that's what we're going to find out. It's going to be interesting in the future.
Okay, and moving over to the next one, and this is about Nintendo. They've applied for a Metroid Other M and a Super Mario Galaxy trademark.
Metroid Other M sucks, but them two Mario Galaxy trademarks, HD baby, let's bring it. Let's bring a collection. Come on.
Well, you already played it in HD, anyways.
I know. I have the Dolphin. And I have played it in HD, but HD portable, Caleones. Mario Galaxy, the best Mario game of all time. It's not Odyssey. I'm sorry, fanboys. It is Galaxy. Galaxy whoop. That candy ass.
I thought you meant the Galaxy 2.
Well, Galaxy 2 for me. Galaxy 1 still better than Odyssey, though. Low blow. Ooh. It's true.
I mean, it's not. It's not.
Odyssey's not even in the top 5 Mario games of all time, Caleones. Come on, man. Come on. Take your tinted glasses off. Come on. Tell me. I can tell you 5 Mario games out at top of my head that are better of Mario Odyssey. You want me to go?
No, because you can't. Because we can go back to the video that we made about the top Mario games, and you actually ranked at number 2.
What, Odyssey? I did? I took my tinted glasses off. That's what happened. I did not rank. Did I rank Odyssey 2? Then I'll be smoking some nice weed that day. Anyway.
And if you guys want to, you can go over to our channel, find a video about the top Mario games where Dantes and I we ranked them. So you can stroll through memory lane and what we thought about the game when it came out. So yeah.
Anyway, Mario Odyssey. Cool game. Just not the best Mario game of all time. But yes, I do want the Mario Galaxy games to come to the Switch. So.
Okay, going over with the next one, and this is kind of like a downer after all that we've been talking about, and this is coming directly from Sakurai. He's talked about Kid Icarus Uprising, and he says that a modern port of the game is unlikely. And this is coming directly from him, and I quote: "I could say that this was close to becoming the most difficult project in my entire career, both in terms of the team and the hardware. The team I had gathered different differed greatly in culture and ways of thinking, so there was always confrontation. In addition, back when we were developing the game, we still couldn't make full use of the power of the Nintendo 3DS. Some improvements in aspects such as the middleware were made later on, but since the game was being made in the initial stages of 3DS development, we had a really hard time doing what we wanted to. For example, I only found out that the Circle Pad Pro was going to be coming out when it was announced to the public by Nintendo. I wanted to make the game support this properly if I could, but this was impossible due to the performance related reasons. As a game in general, it's rich in content and enjoyable, and people have even asked for a modern port. However, I don't think this will be possible. So, I don't know. Like, I talking about Sakurai. Again, this is one of those games where he poured himself and into the game, and the game was actually really good. Have you ever played the game, Dantes?
Nope.
No. So you never got to play it.
On the 3DS, no. 3DS
Yeah.
it came out, right? 3DS.
Yes, it is a little more on rails, so you don't really have like the full freedom to navigate with the game. But I'll blame that to design decisions for the console based on the power of the console and also the control scheme available because you don't really have the two analogs unless you add the circle pad. But um, I I wouldn't really close the door completely on this because even if Sakurai is not the one to make it, Nintendo could very well get another team to kind of like update it to the Switch, and I would love to have the game on the Switch. I mean, have a remastered version of the game on the system. That would be great. Might not happen like Sakurai says, but I mean, never say never. We got the world ends with you, so we'll see if something like that could happen as well with Kid Icarus. But going over with the next one, and this is an announcement from Warframe that it's actually reached 1 million players on the Nintendo Switch. The game, it's actually a pretty darn good game from Panic Button that they ported over to the Nintendo system. Again, they've been doing great jobs when it comes to different ports, and this one is like one of those as well. It is a four-player multiplayer game. It is one that is free to play, so people can download it and enjoy it. But really glad to hear that there's already 1 million players on the system. After this one, we have actually the last piece of news to announce, and it's Dauntless, which is kind of like a mixture of the characters design of Sea of Thieves with the gameplay of Monster Hunter. The game was announced. It's only on PC right now, but it was actually announced to be coming to the Xbox One, PS4, and on the Nintendo Switch. It's going to happen in late 2019, but it's another game. That is. I'm glad that it's coming over. Hopefully, they're going to enable crossplay so you can play with other consoles as well together. But Dauntless, like a Monster Hunter type game, late 2019. And Dantes, that is it.
I inadvertently did not send you the Shigeru's.
I already got it.
You got it? Okay, I'm just making sure. Well, anyway, if that's the case, thank you, Dantes. Thank you, Caleones, for giving the news. I'm losing my mind today. Thank you, Caleones. But let's head to our favorite store to see what is the hottest game in town. So let's go to Shigeru's Supermarket. So what is in the store today, Caleones? What is the hottest ticket in town? I don't know what it is. I don't know what game came out. But go ahead.
Yeah.
What is the hottest ticket?
Yeah, I mean, talking about the games that came this past week, it came down to the wire. It's like so many games that you don't know which one to choose. But talking about the games that released this week, We're talking about Rock's Bushers DX Director's Cut, Dimitrios The Big Cynical Adventure, Toki, Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom, Monica Guardia dos Cielos, Gear Club Unlimited 2, Atelier Tutori, The Adventurer of Arland DX, Atelier Rorona, The Alchemist of Arland DX, Atelier Meruru, The Apprentice of Arland DX, Atelier Arland series deluxe pack, which includes all those collected together. You have the Energy Cycle Edge, Ultimate Runner, Rival Megagun, Long Story, a dating game for the real world, Julie's Sweets, Ivanik versus Eared Beast, Instant Tennis, Gnome's Garden, Football Manager 2019 Touch, Conduct Together, Color Zen, Carcassonne, Beholder Complete Edition, Basketball, Arcade Archives, Double Dragon 2, The Revenge, Twinkle Star Sprites, Sega Genesis Classics, Santa Tracker, Katamari Damacy Reroll, Hello Neighbor Hide and Seek, Enver Lower Verstand, A Quarantine Circular, Guacamele 2. And I feel kind of bad because Katamari Reroll, Damacy Reroll kind of chose the same day as another game, which is, of course, our game of the week and quite possibly Nintendo Switch's game of the year, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
The game of the week is Guacamele too. Just to give example. No, anyway. Yeah, Smash is game of the week for sure. But yeah, just I wanted to clarify. Calamari, whatever it's called, it's all pretty well. Yeah, there it is. Even though the Xenoblade controller is better. And Guacamele too. Please remember, Nintendo fans, to support that game because that game is really, really, really good from Drinkbox Studios. So go ahead and buy that. But yes, Smash for sure is the game of the week. And with that, Caleones, we're done. Let me click some things around here to put some music. And to end the show by saying thank you, everybody. I want to thank everybody who came by and saw us be like a bunch of idiots and talk about games today on the Get In and Get Out Nintendo Podcast, episode 72, right here at the Force In Unison Gaming channel. Please remember to subscribe, like, comment, and hit that bell. Hit that damn bell so you can be notified on all our new content. Also, you can get this podcast on SoundCloud and iTunes for free. No ugly faces today. And it's good. We got this beers right now. Both beers that we have, they're fire. So we can't say ugly faces. But anyway, if you don't want to see ugly faces, now you have me saying it. If you want to see ugly faces, go to SoundCloud and iTunes to download this podcast for free. Rate us over there so you can show some love. Also, description box below. I know we're all over the place because it's a holiday. A lot of stuff going on. We will be back on track in January, and then in February, like I stated, we're relaunching this channel with a couple of surprises. So stay tuned for that. Also, Facebook page at Force In Unison Gaming. And finally, and Dantes says finally, go to forceinunison.wordpress.com and give some clicks and love to my boy Caleones. With all that said, thank you again for joining us, and long live Nintendo. See you guys. Sorry, the music's still going, so. Alright, let's mute it. Now we're getting out. Bye.